Authorities have fatally shot a man who they say is a suspect in a double homicide in Toledo, Ohio. At just before 11:30 p.m. on Thursday the 10th of November, deputies responded to a home at 2721 Albin Street on reports of shots fired. When they entered the home, they found 36-year-old Brent Roscoe and 28-year-old Melinda Moore, who had been shot at least once each. Paramedics tried performing life-saving measures on both victims, but they died at the scene. The victims were reportedly in a relationship. Several dogs were removed from the home unharmed. The neighbour, who declined to be identified, said he heard about 8 gunshots at about 10:30 p.m. before hearing a car pull out and leaving the scene. Officers were informed that Brent's 2017 silver Dodge Charger was missing from the property. In the early morning hours of the 11th of November, the authorities spotted the vehicle in the parking lot of Whaler Homes, located in the 600 block of Leach Avenue. Detectives found the suspect sitting in the driver's seat of the vehicle, with a gun to his head. Officers attempted to de-escalate the situation, but the suspect did not drop the gun. When he exited his vehicle with the firearm in his hand, officers fired multiple shots at him. The suspect was struck by bullets, and he was rushed to a local hospital in a critical condition, where he was later pronounced dead at 5:10 a.m. Officials said several officers who fired their weapons will be placed on administrative leave as part of their standard procedure. The authorities have not disclosed the suspect's name, whether the suspect or the victims knew each other, or a possible motive in the shooting. The investigation into the matter continues. A woman and a teenage daughter lost their lives after a shooting at their home in Hammond, Louisiana. At around 2:30 a.m. on Saturday the 12th of November, the police were called to the residence along Stevenson Lane after a family member discovered the mother and daughter suffering from gunshot wounds. Officers responded to the property, and when they arrived and entered the home, they found the mother, identified as 37-year-old Brandy Smith, unresponsive, and she was declared dead at the scene. The daughter, 17-year-old Raven Smith, was alive but critically injured and was rushed to North Oaks Medical Center. Despite the efforts of medical personnel, the teen passed away shortly thereafter. The motive in the shooting is unclear. The authorities are urging anyone with information regarding the double homicide to contact Crime Stoppers. The investigation into the matter continues. A 24-year-old man is behind bars and is accused of killing his 61-year-old roommate during an altercation. At around midday, on Saturday the 12th of November, the authorities responded to a mobile home in the 11,000 block of Fork Lane in Cottondale, Alabama, to perform a welfare check. Another person called 911 to report that a man at that address is believed to have killed his roommate there. The officers arrived and were met at the door by Daniel Scott Rains. Daniel told the investigators that his roommate, Boris Sartain, had left the home several days ago and he had not returned. Daniel then gave permission for the officers to search the property. Shortly thereafter, deputies found Barry's body in the shed behind the residence. He had been beaten and stabbed to death. Daniel allegedly admitted to killing his roommate after both of them got into an argument, then got into a physical fight. Daniel was arrested and charged with theft of property and murder. He's held at the Tuscaloosa County Jail with his bond set at $300,000. 25-year-old Zarbab Ali is behind bars after the remains of his ex-wife, 25-year-old Rachel Castillo, were reportedly found in the desert in Los Angeles County, California. At 8:31 p.m. on Thursday the 10th of November, Emily Castillo reported her sister Rachel missing from the apartment they shared in the 300 block of Country Club Drive in Simi Valley, California. When officers arrived at the apartment, they found signs of a struggle and significant amount of blood inside. Some of Rachel's personal belongings were still at the location, including her car keys, her vehicle and cell phone, but there was no sign of Rachel. Emily told investigators that Rachel dropped her 2 children, aged 2 and 5 years old, off with their father Zabab that morning, who lived in Hawthorne, and Rachel returned home. Emily said when she arrived at the apartment that night, she wasn't able to find Rachel. She said as soon as she saw the blood, she realised something wasn't right. During the course of the investigation, detectives developed leads, and on the afternoon of Sunday the 13th of November, they located and positively identified Rachel's remains in a remote desert area of Antelope Valley in northern Los Angeles County. Rachel's cause of death is still to be released by the medical examiner's office. A day prior to Rachel's body being found, Zabab posted on Facebook asking family and friends to help in the search for her. Upon further investigation, the authorities identified Zabab as their suspect. Rachel recently filed for divorce from Zabab in March, but the case had not yet been resolved. On the afternoon of the 13th of November, Zabab was arrested in connection to Rachel's death at his parents' home in Victorville. He's been held at the Ventura County Jail on $510,000 bail on probable cause of felony murder. Four University of Idaho students have been found dead inside a home, located just off campus over the weekend. The City of Moscow Police Department announced that at 11:58 a.m. on the 13th of November, officers responded to a 911 call out of residents located on King Road regarding an unconscious individual. Upon arriving at the scene, first responders discovered 4 individuals who were deceased. The victims were identified as 20-year-old Ethan Chapin, 20-year-old Zana Kernodle, 21-year-old Kaylee Goncalves, and 21-year-old Madison Mogan. Ethan was from Washington and Zana from Arizona. Both Kaylee and Madison were from Idaho. The 4 victims appeared to be friends on their social media interactions and posted a photo of 2 other friends just hours before they were found dead on Sunday. Ethan and Zana were believed to be in a relationship, with one Instagram caption from Zana reading, "Life is so much better with you in it. Love you," to celebrate Ethan's birthday. The authorities said that the attacker or the attackers used a knife or edged weapon to kill the students in what they considered to be a targeted attack. It's believed that they died sometime between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. that morning, but their bodies weren't discovered until around midday. The motive of the attack is unclear. Currently there's no one in custody and the investigation is ongoing. 22-year-old Christopher Darnell Jones Jr. is behind bars after being accused of fatally shooting 3 University of Virginia football players and injuring 2 others. The shooting occurred just before 10:30 p.m. on Sunday the 13th of November, along Cuthbert Road in Charlottesville, Virginia, when the suspect opened fire on a bus full of students after they returned to campus from a field trip after seeing a play in Washington, D.C. The 3 deceased victims include Devin Chandler, a third-year student from Huntersville, North Carolina, Lavelle Davis Jr., a third year from Dorchester, South Carolina, and Deshaun Perry, a third year from Miami, Florida. University officials have not released the names of 2 additional victims who are being treated for injuries, one in a critical condition, while the others in a stable condition. Christopher was identified as a suspect in the shooting. At around 11 a.m. the following morning, the authorities spotted his car in Richmond, roughly 76 miles southeast from the university, and he was arrested without incident. Christopher was a student at the university and was listed on the university website as a football player in 2018, though he did not appear in any games that year. Christopher's father, Christopher Sr., said that his son told him that some people were picking on him at school and giving him a hard time, and he didn't know how to handle it. Christopher is charged with 3 counts of murder and 3 counts of using a handgun to commit a felony. A 13-year-old boy has died after he was shot in the head while raking leaves in his front yard, and the suspect remains at large. The incident occurred at around 5:20 p.m. on the 8th of November, when Jay-Z Agnew was doing yard work as part of his chores in the 2100 block of Jamison Street in Temple Hills, Maryland, and someone opened fire. Jay-Z's father, who'd been doing yard work with him but stepped out for a few minutes, heard gunshots and ran back to find his son on the ground. Neighbours said they heard between 5 and 7 gunshots, and one of them said he saw a car speed away. Jay-Z was struck in the head by a bullet and was rushed to the Children's Hospital in a critical condition, but died 3 days later. Prince George's County Police did not believe that Jay-Z was an intended target and are offering a $25,000 reward for information in the case. Jay-Z's mother, Juanita, said that her son dreamed of becoming an emergency room doctor. She described him as a loving, gentle child, adding that his only squabbles were with his little sister Alia over video games. A mother of 2 said that Jay-Z was very playful and was never disrespectful or rude. She said she cannot grasp why anyone felt the need to hurt him. My greatest fear is my son will not get justice, she said.